Hey guys, it's Ned here, founder of Hot Giggity. In this video, I'm going to take you through the process of creating a booking within the platform, and then the ability to send an invoice and a contract to your client, along with choosing your players, your band if you have other players, and then distributing set lists to those players. So the platform is designed to basically bring all of those different processes into the one platform and create a nice flow, nice efficient flow, so then you're not jumping from different platforms to manage the process. So there's a few ways we can do it. You can actually click on the calendar and then choose the date that you're going to create the booking for, and then it gives you these different options. Similarly, you could create the booking by clicking the create a booking button, and it gives you those options here. So we'll do it from the calendar, and then it will pre-populate this date. So I'll just tell you some of these options here. An act booking and invoice is where you have an act, so a solo, duo, trio, for example, that is going to be the act that is booked. The entertainer booking is for people who, it might be a bass player or a drummer, and you are invoicing somebody who is not on the platform to do a gig for them. So that's the difference. In this scenario, we're doing an act booking, so we're going to select the act booking and invoice. This then opens the booking sheet. So you'll notice the details are populated already for the date. It then auto-populates the start time and end time, starting at the next closest half hour. You can then put in load in start, load in end, sound check, start and end. The client details. This section is very important as this is the details that are put on your invoice that is sent to the client. So we'll put in you can put in the company first, put in their first and last names, contract address, phone number, and then important that you put in the email address, because this is the email address that our system will send the invoice and the contract to. You can then put in an event title if you want. You can put in the venue, so that might be, if it is a venue that's on our system already, it will auto-populate with the address details. You can put in if there's a particular person that you wanted to talk to at the venue or you need to get in touch with, their phone number and email, etc. If this was a ticketed event and you created a ticketed or an event using one of the ticket providers, you can put that URL in there. Then we select the act. So in this instance, we're going to use my 4-piece band. With the publishing, you've got the option to either post this to Facebook and display it in your public profile, or if it is a private gig, say it's a wedding, for example, you wouldn't want other people knowing about that necessarily, so you would just leave those unselected. Now, the fee and the deposits. So the total gig fee to the client goes in here. This is excluding any sales tax, GST, VAT, etc. You can also have the ability of creating a deposit invoice, and you can determine when that invoice is going to be due. So we're going to say it's due today. The balance of the balance invoice is going to be due, we'll just say on the day of the gig. Then the gig requirement, you can just put in the number of sets and the dress, which might be smart casual. This tells your bandmates what they've got to wear. Production requirements, you can just put in there any notes regarding the production requirements that you have to take, for example. Any notes, this might be load-in details. And then the last thing is the client contract. So I've just put some terms and conditions in here. These terms and conditions come from your act. So when you're setting up your act, there is a step 7, which allows you to put in a default client contract for any time that act does a booking for a private client, for example. So once you've got all those details in there, what we can do then is go ahead and hit save and next. And what this is going to do is take us to our player lineup. So when we created the act, we added our players, and we added a default gig fee split. So you'll see here that it's automatically divided the gig fee amongst my players so that everybody knows what they're going to get paid. If we then wanted to change some of these players, so for example, if I've got multiple players that play the one instrument, I can go and choose a different player and I can see if they're available or not. Now, if you were to if you're wanting to add another performer that may not be listed here, you just click the Add Performer button, search for them, select the instrument they're going to play, and then hit Add to Lineup. Now, the next step would be to save and invite the players, but we're not going to do that at the moment. I'm just going to leave that step, and I'm going to take you to the My Gigs tab. Because up the top here, you can see on the right-hand side, this is saved in draft format at the moment. So the players haven't been notified, and the client hasn't been notified either. So we're just working on this booking sheet, making sure it's all right before we notify people. So if we go to the My Gigs, it's going to tell you that you haven't saved your lineup, and do you want to leave that section? That's fine. We can come back and do that later. So what we can see here is we have one draft booking on that 27th of May. And if we go to the calendar, you will also see the light blue color that it's a draft. So if you're wanting to now go back and edit that, you can click on the event there and hit view, or alternatively, you can go to My Gigs and you can click on the detail button. This opens up the booking sheet again. And if we want to now invite our players, we can do that. We click the line up. And once again, because we didn't save it, we do have to choose that other player that we wanted to do the gig. We're happy with the gig fee splits, so what I'm going to do now is save and invite the players. Once the players are invited, the status will change to invited. All of your players will now have received an email and a notification via the Hot Giggity app that you have invited them to this gig. When they accept that invite, they will be, this will change to status accepted, and you will receive the invoice from them for the amount that you have specified up the top. Once you've done that, you can actually send a message to these players. So, hey guys, be sure to check the set lists. And then hit send. And this is now a messaging thread that is solely related to that actual event. So you can see here, this goes to status players notified now. If you go back to My Gigs, this moves along the flow to booking requests, and you've sent the booking request to your players, so they've been notified. Once your players actually accept, that gig will move into upcoming gigs. There is another step, so we'll go back into this booking, and you have the step of notifying your client. So once you click that, the system will pull through the details from the booking sheet of their email. You can then start typing a message in here. And on the right-hand side, you'll see it start populating. This is the preview on the right-hand side of the email that they will receive. It automatically populates with the ACT photo and the ACT profile photo at the top of the email. If we go back to finishing our message, and then you'll see that's populated now. Underneath are all the event details, so that goes in the body of the email as well. You can then click send the invoices and send contract. That will then attach as a PDF your deposit invoice. It will also attach your balance invoice, and then it will attach a client contract with all of the details, the event details, and any of the terms and conditions that you had put in there. So if we're happy with that, we can then hit send. That has now been sent, and you'll see that the players and client have been notified. That gig now, if you go to My Gigs, appears in the upcoming gigs section. So players and clients notified. Once all of your players have accepted, this will change to players accepted and client notified. Now we're going to go back into that booking because we want to distribute set lists. So if we go to set lists, I can then copy any of the set lists that I have created on my ACT profile, and that will automatically populate with one of my set lists that I've already created. I can then go through and change the order of the songs, etc. I can then create another set list. So we'd call this set 2 or dinner set. for example, and then you can put in, start selecting songs from your set list, from your song list for this act. So hit save. When your players open this booking, they will automatically see the set lists assigned there. Be sure to go in and put your song keys in there so they know what the key is, and they will instantly see those appear. Now I'll just take you to show you now on the calendar where that gig is appearing. So it is still dark green. That means it's in progress, which means your players have yet to all accept that gig. I'll take you now to the invoices just so you can see where your invoices will sit. So we have, this is the date here, the 27th. There was a deposit invoice created then on that date. And you can click on the details and look at it. Once it's paid, you can actually mark it as paid, so that it will move out of this outstanding status. And then you've got the balance invoice here on the 27th, so you can go in, click on that one, and it shows you that that's the balance for that particular gig. So guys, that's the flow for creating a private booking. Or any booking, actually. As I mentioned, you can create a booking for and send an invoice to an agent, to a venue, or to a private hirer. If you guys have got any questions, feel free to shoot me an email or shoot the team an email to support@hotgiggity.com, and we'll be sure to get back to you. If you're loving the platform, please do share it around, and we're always happy to hear feedback. So if you've got any feedback, please let us know.